There's a lot of different sections in Accessplanit where we'll run reports. We've gone through quite a few of them when it comes to basically wherever you see a data grid, as in a table of columns that looks like this. Any of those things can be run as reports. So all that means is that you've filtered in specific data that you need to see. We typically always pull that out as an Excel document and then extract it. But we use a lot of reports and they're primarily on the dashboard that we had to get Accessplanit to create specifically for us. Now, these are all pulled from a data grid, but it's created for us. So we wouldn't have been able to do this without asking for their support and their help on it. There wasn't just any other section of the system where this kind of detail would have been pulled through. If you look at this one, this is our resources not met. And they've created this for us with the filters that we needed so we can see where an instructor is required. If you ever needed to amend any of these kinds of reports, it's typically always going to be this one. This is the one that we utilize the most. You'll notice that this report only goes up to a certain amount. We send out short notice allocations quite frequently when it comes to the entire year. So a really easy way to do this is to figure out how you can amend this report in order to see the entire years or just anything within the future. You can be specific about what dates you want to see. So where these are written is going to be in the reports function. So at the very bottom of your grid here, you want to go to report writer. And any kind of, tailored to us report that we want to do, if it's possible, we're always going to go to the support desk to ask to create these for us. They're way too intricate for us to be able to code them ourselves. So you can always just go to the help and then go to support portal. That's how you're going to raise the ticket, or obviously give them a call. But even if you do call the support desk, they always need to raise a ticket for you. So it's best to have as much detail as you possibly can have them, like what type of information you need. Now, bear in mind, Accessplanit has loads of clients and each one of them use the system for what they need it for. So it's tailored to them. So we use this system quite specific, like our resources, our trainers, their venues, or all these things. And we write account names quite specifically, like maybe other clients wouldn't. So when you are raising any kind of ticket with them, especially when it comes to a report writer, you've got to be as specific as you possibly can, using the kind of fields that you know. So we're going to go into the resource requirement met. If you just clicked on this, it's going to show you the actual report, like what we see in the dashboard. It's just going to show you a bigger version of it. You can't change anything in this, but what you could do is have a look at all the coding that's taken place in this. And all of this is filtering through what we actually see in here. In order to edit this, so I'm just going to go back to where we were before. If you hovered over the report that you needed, just go into edit here where it says design, and we're going to click on the little pencil. And now we're able to make amendments ourselves. So what this is showing you, in your data grids, and it always asks you what columns that you want to see. So these are our fields. So in here you can see the course date ID, the name of the course, the venue, the course start date. This is how it's sorted. So this is why it appears in the dashboard from the earliest date to the end. It's because it's showing in here that this is what we want it sorted through. It's the exact same way that an Excel spreadsheet will work. You're going to do things by date, perhaps by alphabetical order, and then this is how we want to see it, so specific times. This is where our requirement is met, so we've just coded this to be a true or false statement. You don't have to do anything when it comes to this, other than if you wanted to add in any more information in these fields. Now, this is where it's viewed within the system. So the only thing that you might want to see is maybe how many candidates were booked. You can see that in any other area of the system, but it will then go ahead and tell you that in the dashboard, or how much money it's going to cost you. Say if we don't have a resource on it and now we have to cancel it. So what is our potential loss? This is where you would add anything forward, and you can see all the options that you can have. Override alias might also be a good one just because it'll give you details of it. But it's in this field where you'll be able to edit things. If you go into actual fields, filters. This is where it's going to show you what it's actually bringing forward. So it says that your resource type equals. These are all the different codes that our resources are named from. If you think about before, when we didn't have medical directors or administrative support, those never used to show up on the dashboard before. They show up now because we've added them into the system. So this one, I'm just going to take a wild guess because it says admin. That's our resource ID. If you went through to the, there's a tutorial that's also a video that shows you the attributes of everything that's in the system. That's where these are taken from. They're the ID numbers associated with each type of resource, each type of venue. This is where we added it. And I don't expect anybody to automatically kind of understand where that comes from, but it's how you can get an idea of how it's coded and how it all comes together in the system. Now, I mentioned before that when we send across short notices that you might want to do it for a year, because what that allows you to do is rather than sending every single advanced course, regardless of whether or not we're like full on capacity for resources, it lets you clean it up. So when you do have somebody contacting support services in order to ask for every ALS course, you can expand your search so that it'll show you everything. So we don't want to see next 90 days. We might want to see everything that's going to be in the future. So if you were to preview this, do you remember before our report was only going up until July? It's now showing you the entire year or everything that's done. You've got 106 right now. If you were to extract this, because I appreciate that only went up to September, it's going to show you everything. It's just only giving you a little view. So we can say all of them. And it's going to, now it's all of a sudden a lot larger than it was. So this is every single course showing that we need a resource for, and it's telling you the resource. If you wanted to pull this out across it, all you need to do is hit the Excel button, and it's going to send it across to you in an Excel spreadsheet. But any of the very like bespoke reports that we do, and they're typically the ones that are shown in the dashboard, this is where you can amend it. I think this is the best example that you guys can have because this is the one that we use the most.